because that's how you're presenting. Say, hey, that's not how I identify. Please identify me as this. Now, if it goes any further past that, then that's blatant rudeness and whatever, and then move on. Just had to point that out. But to get back to your question. I remember back when all that happened, though, and basically nobody talked to me anymore. And it was before I knew who my real family and real friends were. I'm blessed that I have a big brother who's 10 years older than me, who raised me as his little brother and now still calls me his little sister. I'm very blessed. Me and my brother have always been very, very, very close. He was my best man at my wedding, and when I finally get married to my new partner, I want him to give me away, since I know my mom and dad are not going to. So that's the closeness I have with my brother, and I'm very blessed in that respect. I think coming out has actually made us closer. But before I knew all that, there's a person here. I was a roommate with them. I was a very tiny room. It was about 200 square feet, the room that I was living in. I had to move out of my house because the house is going to the ex-wife. It got really lonely because I wasn't me. I was right in the middle. I wasn't on hormones yet. I was telling everybody I wanted to be transgender. I'm coming out, but then I had people that didn't really want to be my friends. I had people that weren't being respectful. I had people that I thought were my friends that were saying things that were very derogatory that I really didn't want to listen to because I was already going through enough emotional issues. I got to the point where I was finishing 6 bottles of alcohol a week. And for those of y'all that drink or don't drink, that's a lot of alcohol. I was finishing 6 fifths a week. And I did that for about 3 months. My poison of choice at the time was whiskey and vodka. It was Jim Beam's Devil's Cut and a Russian vodka that was very, very strong. So I was not happy. And what does alcohol do? Make your emotions worse, right? So I went to a downward spiral, and I had bad emotions, and then I made them worse, and I stayed there. Like I said, I was very lonely. And then apparently there were people that were reaching out to try to help me, but I didn't see that. All I did was cry. I laid in my bed at night trying to watch Netflix, and I cried. And because for the first time in my life, I was not able to call mama. I wasn't able to call daddy and get their advice, to talk, to figure out what's going on in my life. It was the first time in my life I never had that. And it was hard, because when your parents are gone, what do you have? You have you. For the first time I had me, and I had nobody helping me. In a time where I really needed the help. And nobody cared. So that's what I mean by I was lonely. On both sides. Now, I play the role of mama bear. So I will take people that come over to me, and I've been called Mama of the Con. I've been called Mama in all other respects in the trans and LGBT community. The leather community, for anybody that knows what the leather community is, I'm also a mama bear in that, because I'll strangle somebody if they come out with anything other than kindness. Because I know what it feels like to be hated. And hated for the wrong reasons. I mean, y'all are only hearing me on a panel, but for anybody that ever gets a chance to actually talk to me, I'm a pretty nice person. I'm a charitable person. He knows. He comes to my con. I run a convention every year. And the whole purpose of my convention is cosplay and raise money for lupus. That's all I do. You know? I'm not a bad person, but there are people out there that don't give a shit. And it's sad. There are people in this community that don't give a shit. Because they think they're better than everybody. If there's anything that you'll take out of my panel, whether it's anything I said before this, but if there's anything that I want you to take when you leave out that door, is that no one in here, including myself, is better than anybody else in here. You are all great in your own way. That's what makes a community. That's what makes us individuals. If you walk out there and you're like, fuck that bitch, I'm a lot better than her because of this reason, that reason, the other reason, then learn nothing in this panel. The point of this panel is literally for you to be educated, learn, question things, learn things that you don't know about a group of people or myself, and get some kind of clarity. And hopefully, in the hopes that when you walk out here and you go back into the con, that you start spreading ripples of positivity by hugging somebody randomly just because you want to hug them. By the way, cosplay does not mean consent. But go out there, hug somebody, give them a compliment, just tell them how good they look, they did a great job, whatever it may be. If there's anything you do, like I said, when you leave out of here, that's the one thing I want you to bring with you. Because in this life, you may only get one fucking chance. Do you want to go out on top, knowing that the people that are below you respect you? Or do you want to go out on top, knowing that the people below you want to bury you? Think of it that way. I will tell you that there is nobody below me that wants to bury me. Because I've always brought people with me, and I've done nothing but respect them and love them, and cherish them, and educate them, and whatever else I had to do. So, everybody cool with that one, right? You can take that when you leave out of here, right? That's awesome. Yes, hon?
Do you think it's helpful for people to start getting in the habit of initially using they and then pronouns, and then from there, they just wait until another person actually reveals their gender to them?
So I've had people do that before. Like I've had people just because they don't know sometimes with me, because I can look like a really dykey girl, or I just look like a very femme girl sometimes, because there's so many different things, variations. I've actually had people that had just met me and they just start with them and they, and that's fine. I don't mind it. It feels weird because I'm a single person. Yeah. It's kind of weird for me. I don't identify that way. My partner, who's bigender, who, I mean, for her, hell, it'd be perfect to just call her them and they, but she doesn't even identify as that. She identifies female because she was born female. She just knows that most days she identifies more as a guy, more days a girl. So everybody is different.
But on introduction, do you think that's the most helpful?
You know what though? At the same time, you don't want to assume. That's the other thing too. Some people, I mean, like I was saying, like millennials to new, all that, like, it's really hard, because even with me, I mean, it's, I think, easier, because I kind of have that card in my back pocket of, bitch, I'm transgender too, give me a break, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and they'll give me a break, right? For somebody that doesn't look like they do, some of the newer people, and even some of the older people, they are very hypersensitive. And it's hard. That's a hard one, and there is no right answer. I think my only best suggestion would be gauge it to the best of your ability. Or if you've gotten a chance, use those very gender neutral everythings of, hey you, or can I ask you a question? Or hi, my name is so-and-so, what is your name? And then once you have their name, you can always use a name in place of a pronoun. It sounds weird, and eventually they're going to tell you, this is how I identify, just call me her or him or whatever. They'll tell you at that point, because nothing worse than somebody using my name in a aspect of pronouns because they don't know, and it gets a little crazy, because nothing worse than hearing Cassia every other word. Well, Cassia said that Cassia needs this, and Cassia wants to go, and Cassia, shut the fuck up. I've had that happen. So I would just say gauge it. It'd be the best thing that that's the only advice I can give you. I really wish I would have had Tara on this. Tara would have been good to have on this panel too, talk about transgender issues.
I have one more question.
No, go ahead.
Okay. When do you think that baby gender reveal parties will end?
They won't. I'll tell you right now, they will never end. Come on in. You're late.
We're actually early.
Oh, you're on the next panel? Oh, then you're super early then.
Gotta tell a joke now.
No, I don't do jokes. I will say, because I will preview this, if gender issues of any topic bother you, this will probably not be a good time to sit here. You look like very accepting
We're
people.
from California, so no.
Oh, fuck, you're good. I'm from New Orleans, so I'm just like, saying. Just saying. All right, But I just wanted to make sure that I state that out there so you have the option of leaving if you needed to. Awesome. So where were we? Oh, baby gender revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came in at an amazing topic. Those are never going to go away. Why? Because it's easy to catalog something. It's easy to put a stamp on something and categorize it. Because what are normal society good at? Compartmentalizing everything, gender included.
That makes sense.
That's what we're good at, because if you don't compartmentalize everything, it'll just become a hodgepodge and you will go crazy because you don't know how to organize yourself. Anybody in here not compartmentalize anything? Exactly. Point me. It's always going to be there. If you were to have a child tomorrow and it was born with a penis, are you going to call it a boy?
No, I'd try not to. I'd really try not to.
So, this is a fun topic for me. All right, so if you had a child tomorrow that was born with a penis, what are you going to do if you don't want to give it a gender? And how are you going to do a birth certificate? And what name will you give the child?
And nothing's set up like that. The world isn't set up like that.
Reasons why we compartmentalize. You are obligated by society to do so until that child is old enough to feel another way and give you a reason to change it. I realized, actually, I had an issue Monday, speaking of children. I was doing a panel similar to this at Costume Con, if anybody's familiar with it. They are a traveling costume convention. I was doing my trans thing, a mom walks in with her daughter. Could be no more than, I'll say 6, maybe 7 years old. She sees it, and it was about gender expressions in cosplay, was what it was. It was how to express your gender through cosplay. Similar to this, but a little more in depth, and it was me as a trans female and somebody else as a trans male, and we were able to talk about gender bending and all these other things in cosplay. I said, we were very friendly, like, come on in, because she opened the door, she was about to walk in, all that, and she's like, she's like, no, this panel is so not for my fucking daughter. Comes off very rude, doesn't it? Pretty abrasive. Do you know she came back later, sat down, realized it was the same panel, and then left again? That was funny. But yeah, when she realized that, okay, I'm gonna give this panel a shot, she came in, sat down, realized it was 2 trans people talking about transgender issues and cosplay, and she left. And everybody in the room, because I did it as a round table, everybody was offended. And funny enough, me and the person at the panel were the only 2 people that were trans in there. Everybody else was cisgender, but they were all offended for us. That's kind of funny. I didn't actually have to get offended. Come on in. I think you're early for the next panel. I think you might be early for the next panel, but you can come in on this one.
Which one about?
Which one?
What this panel about exactly?
What is this panel about? This panel is about people, it's a society panel. So it's talking about people that are hiding in plain sight, where you have to wear a mask to be yourself in the community.
Well, that might keep me leave. I really have a mask that I wear around.
No worries, honey. Is this fucking Monday?
What days?
All right, so I have 10 more minutes in here before I have to turn it over to these fine people sitting in the front. And I'm one of those people I don't like running
We're
over.
not on the panel,
Oh,
we're
we're
just
not.
attending.
Oh, fair enough. But I still like to give the panel to the other people. Yes, ma'am.
When you were a teenager, and were you able to call somebody, what would you have? And you were going through this place.
If I would have known then what I know now, I think, I don't know. I was in a weird place in my teenage years. Like I said, I didn't really understand stuff until I was about 16. I think the issue when it came into fear, and at that time I was a lot more afraid of my dad than I was later in my life. Me and my dad didn't really become good friends until I was older. I was always really scared of him and his temper, and I knew how he was and how the people around me were. So knowing what I know now then, maybe it might have given me a little bit more courage. but the resources were not available yet. Transgender hadn't really come to light, per se, until after I graduated. And I mean, far into the Navy side of shit. I literally didn't even know that there's a difference between transgender and transsexual. I thought they were the same until I was like 23, 22, 23 years old. And that's when I knew there was a difference. But knowing what I know now, I mean, maybe I might have been able to make a difference back then, because I would have been younger. My parents would kind of been obligated to, not kick me out of the house. Maybe it might have helped some things. I don't know. But I'm one of those people, I'll always say, better late than never. No, I'm probably, in some respect, by society's standards, not the prettiest person. But I will say, outside of cosplay, I'm a damn good-looking person. If anybody's ever seen me outside of cosplay, I know he has. I just keep throwing it over to you because you're on your fucking phone.
You're gorgeous, don't worry.
Thank you. No, seriously though, outside of cosplay, I have figured out this shit, how to dress up. I'm just a really buff girl. And it was a quick funny story actually, I think I have time for this. The funniest thing was I actually had a friend of mine, met her boyfriend, who's from New Orleans, same place I'm from. Really, really nice guy, very, very much in New Orleans. He was making comments, he knew I was trans. Like, it's no fucking secret when people see me. But the first thing he said is, "Damn, you're a sexy, thick bitch, you look like you can fuck somebody up." Was his words. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, "Your damn arms are bigger than mine." And I was like, true, yeah, my arms are bigger than yours. I was like, but it doesn't mean I can fight. He goes, "Honey, what do you do for a living?" "Navy." "What do you do as a hobby?" "Martial arts instructor." It's true, I've been doing martial arts for the last 26 years. 2-time world champion. And that was all back when I had testosterone. I was a Team USA and I did pro amateur for 2 years. And then got in a car wreck and had to retire. All right, so I've got some more time for more questions. I'm all about questions.
I have a question when it comes to
No, it's fine. I'm actually half deaf. I can't really hear. No, that's serious. I really am. I'm half deaf in my right ear.
Okay, I have a question when it comes to being in fear.
How the fuck I give you a mic? Louder. Scream.
I have a question when it comes to being in fear
Uh-huh.
of coming out to people. Because I'm pansexual, but my parents are the same as yours, and
Do me a favor. Come here.
Oh boy.
Hey, sit right here.
You're part of the panel now.
All right. It makes it easier for me. Don't be nervous. You know why you don't need to be nervous? Because I will fuck everybody else up. That's why you don't need to be nervous. All right. You're the highlight to my panel. Now, what did you say? Because I couldn't hear a damn word you said.
I was wondering how you deal with fear of coming out to people, because my parents are really strict when it comes to religion, and they talk crap about acuity as well. And I'm very afraid of coming out and thinking that maybe it's best if I should never come out to them or my family at all, because I'm actually really scared of losing them.
Yeah, I can get you on that one. So, everybody in here heard you, relatively. So you already come out to probably 20 people. Yeah, that's how you deal with fear. That's how you deal with fear. All right, remember this. Fear is always hard. Okay, it's when you're scared, it's hard to do things. Courage, on the other hand, courage is doing something even when you're scared and you don't know the outcome. That's courage. I will tell you that you will cry, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I'm not that person. You're going to cry, and how old are you?
I'm 17.
17. Okay. So if your parents are those kind of parents, I will venture to say this. If your parents really love you, your parents will still be there. Okay? Not everybody is that lucky. I will also tell you this. If you die tomorrow, let's just go with that. If you died tomorrow and you were put into the ground, you want to know that you lived your life, right? But you want to know that you lived it your way. So you're happy. Because at the end of the day, not me, not your parents, not anybody else in here can ultimately make you happy. You have to make you happy. Only you know how to make yourself happy. People can guide you, they can give you ideas, they can help you navigate. But ultimately, only you know how you feel at the end of the day. And that's true, and I'm sure anybody else in here will tell you that. Only you know what makes you happy and how you feel. If your parents don't know, you have to give them a chance. Because at the same time, they might surprise you. My brother surprised me. I did not even think my brother would talk to me because I felt my brother was the same as my mom and my dad. My brother's still in my life. Like I said before, you'll find out who your friends and your family are. You know? It's going to be hard, no matter what you do. But eventually, and I'll tell you something, and this is funny because it's something my mom used to tell me, eventually you will have enough. And I would rather you come out, tell somebody, and be happy than to be a statistic. If that makes any sense. Okay? Can I have a hug? If you mess up my dress, we're going to fight. It's okay. All right. You're good. You're good.
Andrea, I love you.
You're doing good, girl.
Oh, wait, I think I have napkins. Oh, wait a minute.
That's a good friend who carries napkins.
It's so nice to have them.
Also, you can come by my table, and you can get one of my cards and always keep in touch with me, okay? Again, I'm a mama bear. Plus, you just proved to everybody here that you are strong enough.
Yes.
You came out to me. Of course, I'm an easy person to come out to. I'm in the community. But you don't know. Everybody saw that. You don't know about half of these people here. But just remember, tomorrow, if you want, you can contact me. You can come to my table. You can come to my table. I'm in Cosplay Corner. I'm in Cosplay booth number 2. That's Skip's Cosplay. You can't miss me. I'll be dressed in almost slim to none tomorrow. Y'all should come over too. But yes, so I need to get this panel to the next gentleman that's waiting to get up here. And all that. Thank you all. Yes.
I was going to ask you a question after the panel.
Yes, you can have it out there.